here. Can we toast to him?
For
Let's toast to
sure.
this man. What's his name? Jason. Come on, Jason. You
Okay, so Coley and obviously brother Eddie were talking on the table, and they were discussing, unfortunately, a painful situation where obviously she had lost her brother, and he also had lost his father. He mentioned about being at 7 years old. I want to get your thoughts on that because obviously they shared that moment, and she obviously said that's how they connected a bit more as well in the conversation that they connected because they had both lost somebody. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Like, did that give you a bit more depth to both of them? Did that give you a bit more understanding of where each person was coming from? Yes or no? Chelsea
No,
said no.
and,
Okay.
and I know folks
Oh
are going to
damn.
talk about me because they say I'm a little cold blooded, but y'all know how I feel when people get on this TV crying for no reason. That actually pissed me off, and y'all know I get mad when people be crying for no god dog reason. It just gave unstable, and but I thought he was very nice in his response, and he tried to bond with her. I thought he did a good job bonding with her, but the whole time in the scene, I was like, "Ho, is you cool? Like, are we?" That's all I could think. But y'all know I can't stand when they get on this TV crying unprovoked.
I can't stand the fact that she shared his personal information. What if he didn't want to share that he lost his dad with the other two at the table? I mean, it's screaming. We talked about this offline, off camera. Seems like Eddie is using the phone numbers. Take note, Wayne. Take note. But again, now she's like, oh, yeah, because you lost your dad. And he's sitting there. And if you look at his expression, it's kind of like, wait, share your information. Don't just put mine out on the table and force me to have to share with everybody else here. So that's the part I did not like. Share your hurt. That's perfectly fine, but you don't need to let my business out on the table. I'm sorry. So maybe I'm a little more harsh. She's crying, whatever. I'm like, Seaway, girl, you know what day it was. You could have told production, I don't want wish to film today is going to be real rough, and kept it home. I felt it was a tad performative.
I hear that. Okay. Sean?
Well, I guess we need balance, so I'll just try to, find some balance somewhere. I can't say
It's heavily
I
tipped.
really try to lead into my empathy more these days. I'm sure you guys can see it, but I just, at least everyone rallied around her. I will say that. She had a moment and everybody rallied around her because I can also attest, and I'm being serious, to the fact of, this time of year for me is a little difficult because my stepson's birthday and he passed away last year. So this part of February is just February in general is a little tough. I got my anniversary from my divorced wife. I got her birthday. I got my stepson's. Like, it's a lot going on in February for me. So I can understand that a date can trigger you. So there.
No, I think that's a very important. See, I see both sides. I didn't really think of it from the lady's perspective, right? I only thought of it as, oh, okay, she's just sharing. She's being more vulnerable. But I also, as you're saying it, I didn't realize. I didn't look at it that way. That she is sharing a private information about Eddie that maybe he didn't want to be released at that point. I didn't even think of it that way. I just thought to myself, oh, she's empathizing, but maybe maybe that's a part of the not being very vulnerable sometimes, that you don't realize that there's certain things you don't need to share. And maybe it was an overshare in that moment, that she was kind of trying to connect, and then, she shared that information with the group. Do you know what I'm saying to you? You know what I mean? So I definitely hear what you ladies are saying in that respect. I didn't even see it like that until you said it. And then when you said it, I was like, oh, yes, right. It's private information. Like, what if he wasn't okay with it? It seemed like he's okay, but what if he isn't okay with it? You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you don't know him like that. You know what I'm saying to you? So I definitely hear what you're saying. And on the other side of things, I really appreciate her sharing. I thought it was nice to hear her on a different note. And maybe again, I just like vulnerability. She looked so much more beautiful, than this whole joking that she always does. That infuriates me because she jokes at every single thing. You know what I mean? But yes, anyway, go for it.
Well, I will say that I really did appreciate that she tried to be more serious and try to connect on a more serious note. I did want to add that to be positive, to bring balance. I'm glad that she left the whole, snow is pollution, and tried to connect the best way she knew how. So I do want to give her credit for that. However, for me, because I know African commented that we can all control, when we break down. I know for me personally, That is true. I understand that. But if you are crying on a first date about darn near anything, I honestly don't care. I mean, unless it happened that day, if you are just unprovoked breaking down at a table, I personally am going to deem you unstable and I'm not going to take the risk on you. Now, there's other people like maybe Kojo thought it was beautiful and things like that. That's fine. Just personally for me, it's giving unstable or unstable, whatever it is. And it's just a no for me. It's just a no for me. That's all I'm saying, because I'm feeling like now you don't know time, place, manner for me. But if y'all don't mind people breaking down the moment they met you about they dead mama, grandma, sister, cousin, whoever, then that's fine. I'm not that person, because I'm gonna be sitting there awkward like, ho, is you cool? That's all. I'm gonna be sitting there like Camille.
We have watched and listened from the mountains. We have watched with disgust.
That's how I felt when Siwa was saying what she said. I feel like I'm this guy. No, but I get what you're saying. I actually do get what you're saying. It's a very tricky thing. So yes, yes, Elson, and then Sean. Yes, it's a tricky thing what you said. Yes, I'm hearing you.
The only grace I can give is maybe it's an extended conversation that we did not hear. But if you just pick that up and start in the middle of drinks and everything, something is happening that we probably cannot help you with, and we're not trained to help you with. And, exit stage left. That's about as much sympathy as I could give.
I mean, and yeah, feel free to break down, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like you need to break down, break down. I'm just saying that I am a representation of many people's opinion, not everyone's opinion, right? And so if you break down and that's how you feel like you need to, that's fine. But just know there's going to be a section of society who's going to think that you need to go see that lady. And that's it. You know what I mean? I think people need to understand that there's multiple truths can be true at the same time. At the same time. Because if I'm going through grief and I'm sitting at a table at Ready to Love and I start breaking down, maybe I couldn't control it. But that also may be that I'm going through a little bit of instability at that time. And maybe I do also need to go see that lady. And maybe I am being unstable at the same time. I mean, a lot of things can be true. And that's all I'm saying, personally.
I hear that. That's fair. Sean, yeah, go for it.
No, I was just adding some levity to it because the people in the comments are saying we're being evil.
That's when in Rome being extra. I wouldn't even pay no money.
So yeah, no, I do think, listen, like I share my own personal experience. I think, hey, grief comes in waves. You can't necessarily control it. Maybe she felt safe in that moment, so she's working on her vulnerability,
Phil said, "Don't go on a date on someone's death anniversary." I mean, that's also
Oh my gosh,
controllable.
Phil, where is your clinician empathy?
Phil said,
My
"I'm gonna see
God.
where it was off-putting and strange." Off-putting and strange. No, I mean, listen. Shout out, listen. I think I'm seeing both sides here. I'm not saying any side is actually right or wrong per se. Right? I'm understanding the context. The conversation was about Wayne's brother mentioning, and I think it was the day her brother passed. It's an anniversary of that day, so she probably was triggered in that moment. But I also understand that her being triggered doesn't mean that you're gonna also be. If you were on a date, if someone's having that, you may also feel there may be some instability in that respect. I can understand that as well. Someone may be like, oh, that might not be for me. You know what I'm saying too? And again, depending on how many years it's been, whatever. But it also is the other aspect where some people can be okay with it, like you said. So it's not a case of choosing either or. It's more of a case of understanding there has to be context of the situation. That some people might look at it this way, some people might look at it the other way, right? In that space. So I don't think necessarily it's a right or wrong in this situation. I think it's just a case of finding a balance in that aspect. The group did well. I mean, they Angie especially was like, hey, girl, let it out, go on, feel free now. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And
I love the
how
way she
I am.
covered her. I love the way she covered her. She did a really, she not only like allowed her to express herself, but then also kind of brought life back into the room by toasting to him. And I thought that Angie did a really, really good job of kind of addressing it. I thought she did a good job. So I want to say
Yeah.
that.
Like I said, I'm not saying anybody was wrong. I think there's cause to talk about both sides. You know what I mean? Like it may have been a case also that if because other like you may be stable, but maybe that day is just a very difficult, heavy day. Then maybe it's not the day you should come and film. Like you know what I mean? Take yourself out. It's okay. Put yourself first. Put your mental health first. You know it's a very heavy day for you. Don't worry about filming. You know what I'm saying, Chu? And so it may be one of those things as well for her as well in future. Be like, actually, maybe I shouldn't film, or maybe I don't need to go, maybe I don't need to do this thing on this particular day because it is a very heavy day. So, yeah, you know, for me personally, it wouldn't have mattered. But then again, my job is to deal with people who cry all the time. So it's very different for me than it is for other people. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying as well. Yeah, I get it.
And
Yeah,
a
sure.
good point too. The Wayne with the Bayang started the story with his brother being proud, or him being proud of his younger brother that has kids and is married, and that's something that he wants to esteem to. And I think that's what kind of set the training of her to kind of think about her brother and then be reminded that it was also the anniversary of his his birthday.
Love that. Now, obviously, in amongst that, obviously Eddie is again. Eddie wasn't in that conversation, but we said obviously he wasn't necessarily being intentional. He was labelled a playboy or a player by Rocky a little bit later on as well. Do we agree with that sentiment? Do we believe that Eddie is a playboy? I mean, I know he looks like he could be a playboy, but is that what he's given? Is that what he's given so far? Are we
Did we
saying
get
that
any
Eddie?
information as to why she said that?
She didn't. She didn't really say. I don't know what her thing is. I'm trying to take my notes. I
He
don't
said he
remember her-
just dating. He said he been just dating.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, you in these streets? You a city boy?" That was the conversation we saw.
Aisha said Rocky was soft rejecting herself. I don't know. It just kind of gave that he's tall and handsome, and so he's a city boy. I remember when she said that, but I didn't know why she was saying that. So
Who said that to him?
light skinned
Rocky.
lady with the blonde hair, Rocky.
Oh, okay. I think she's Afro Latina,
Is
More than
she?
likely,
Yeah, because her last name is Cologne.
Okay.
just Rocky.
But that's just a
Side
side
note.
note